I'm gonna turn on our video, okay?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Mike, are you here? I think you're muted, by the way. I think I see you in the participants.
Do you want to tell people here too?
Hi, everyone. We're also live on Instagram as well. But we'll be focusing here on the Zoom. Are y'all able to hear me? Are we good? Can y'all type in chat if you can hear me so I know? Make sure there's no difficulties. Perfect. Okay. There might be some more people trickling in because it just turned to 7 p.m. But thank everybody. Thank you all for joining. We are Kelsey and Julio. Mike, if you want to do a little intro.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, super excited to get this going. I just am really excited to share with the football community our partnership with Staff Highlights with Julio and Kelsey. Being a youth coach, I always see such demand where I just hear so many questions on how do I get noticed? What can I do? And I just feel like I'm repeating myself over and over and over. And so it's great to partner with you guys, that you guys can give some really good direction. You guys have a lot of proven methods. You've worked with tons of players, men and women. And you guys have been great players yourselves. And I just have seen your growth of your company, and it's an honor to work with you guys and partner with you guys. And I'm excited for all the information the players and parents are going to get tonight regarding getting seen by college coaches. So welcome everybody, but I'll go ahead and let you guys, Julio and Kelsey, take over.
Okay, perfect. I might still be like leaning in to just admit people into the call as they come in, but let me go ahead and share my screen. I have prepared took me a week's long to make a presentation for you guys. So there's a lot of really, really good information that I have come up with for y'all. I won't make it full screen because when I do that, I can't like zoom in on the cards, but I'll go ahead and like just leave it like this so we can take a look at the slides. But we are Stafford Productions. My name is Kelsey Stafford, and
I'm Julio, and thank you so much for coming to the call. Also, something else, if you guys have any questions, please make sure that you leave them in the chat, and in the end of the call we'll get to it. Same thing on Instagram. If you guys have any questions, just put it as a comment. I'll probably go back and answer them. But yeah, we'll get started.
And let me just let someone else in. Okay, cool. So I'm sorry, hold on. Okay, so if you want to join our email list and get any tips, tricks, things that come up as like seasons progress, I would ask everyone, if you guys want to get emails from us, to please put them in the chat. If you can put your first and your last name with your email in the chat, then I can add you to our email list. And the reason as well is because someone just asked, is this being recorded? I am currently recording this call, and I will send out a replay. So if you do want a replay of this webinar, go ahead and put your first, your last name in the chat with your email, and I will email this recording out to you guys, because we do have a lot of information that will be packed in the webinar, and you can refer back to it at any point. So yeah, feel free to drop them in the chat, and we can send you guys any tips, tricks, updates, replays. If coaches are looking for a player that they might be looking to recruit, we do also send that out to anybody who's interested in maybe checking out the school. So yeah, join our email list so you never miss out on anything. And then this, everything that we're going over today in the webinar is already on our Instagram page. So if you ever want to refer back to anything, Instagram is staff.highlights. And then we also have a YouTube channel. So if you do want to subscribe, and if we do college tours, if we do any interviews with coaches, if we do anything such as like vlogs of where we're going, who we're meeting, all goes on our YouTube channel. So feel free to subscribe to that as well, so you don't miss out on any of that content. But let's jump into who we are. So why should you listen to us? We are highlight video experts. We've been in business for 5 years, and we've made over 1,000 highlight videos for athletes of all sports. Kelsey, I played club soccer for Team Boca. I graduated NCAA, where I played soccer for 4 years at Lincoln Memorial University in Tennessee, and I won 2 conference championships with that team. So I've been through the entire recruiting process from the club stage, playing club soccer, high school soccer, going on tours with my family, making my own highlight video, way before, I don't want to make myself sound that old, but before like the agents and all of that stuff was coming up. So we kind of just had to find information where we could, but really built great relationships with colleges and agents, and just built the industry from the inside.
Yeah, and I was an international college athlete. Came from Brazil. I did play professional academy in Brazil. Also, sorry, I'm just muting some people here. Um, after I played professional academy, I came here to the US. I played at a JUCO. I was all conference at that JUCO. Then I transferred to same school that Kelsey went, NCAA school, where I was also all conference. Then after that, I did try to play professionally. It was difficult in the beginning, but then eventually I was able to sign. But I did get some interest from MLS teams. San Jose Earthquakes in California is one of them. But yeah, as I was trying to get to the pro, as I didn't become a pro right after college, Staff Productions was the thing that actually kept us starting our life. So yeah, that's basically us. But yeah, let's get going.
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about the recruiting process and pretty much everything you need to know about the ins and outs, do's and don'ts, tips and tricks, and all of that good stuff. So the topics we have for today are a lot. Again, all of this is at our Instagram page. I've posted all of this on there. So if you guys ever want to refer back to any of this content, it is on there. And I will also be sending out this as a replay. But how to get recognized by college coaches, questions you should ask coaches when you go on college tours, interviews, average retention time for a highlight video, tips to have a really high quality video, how to email college coaches. That's a really, really big one that I got a ton of great feedback on. The best way to balance school and athletics, and then 6 ways to get recruited to play college athletics. So jam-packed with a lot of good information, and let's jump into the first one. So the 6 ways to get recruited to play college athletics. Oh gosh, train hard every single day. You should be doing something every single day to improve one aspect of your game, no matter what it is: gym sessions, fitness, technique, skills, plyometrics, explosions, mentality. It's not on there, but mental toughness, confidence, things like that. Doing something every day. You must have the skills and technique needed to play at the next level. Julio will say this, and I'll give him in just a second to speak about it, but you should be thriving or almost at the top of your game to get to the next level that you want to go to.
Yeah, and that's the reason why coaches, they're recruiting people that not only can perform at that level, but can overperform. It's super simple. If you're playing academy right now and you're trying to play college, you have to be performing well there or overperforming in order to be recruited in a college level or in a pro level. It's just as simple like how it works. So it is something that you guys have to make sure that every little detail you guys are taking care of, and that's how you get recruited, basically.
The next one's get good test scores. All throughout your 4 years of high school, you should be at the top of your athletic career. Academic career.
Yeah.
You should not ever slow down. Even when you're a senior, going from junior to senior, if you've committed already, you do not slow down. That's when you have to go even harder. So from the example you see on the screen, your GPA does influence the amount of scholarship you're going to get. And that exact example is from an agent that we work with who was going through the recruiting process with a prospect. And he said to him, you have a 3.0 GPA right now. If you get up to a 3.5, you'll get an extra $2,000. So your GPA really influences where you're at scholarship time.
And not only that, then going to the next slide, which is basically create a CV and a highlight video. You not only have to take care of in the field, in class, but also the marketing side of things. Make sure that you're marketing yourself really well. You have a highlight video, you have a CV that shows basically what you have done previously, and just to give it an example of to the coaches what you guys can basically perform on the field and have performed. And here's a little examples of things that you guys can add to a CV, and examples what you can do in a highlight video to make it look good. Of course, keep in mind that if you're trying to get recruited to play college, colleges are being based on pro teams. So what they're trying to do is basically just mimic everything that pro teams are doing. College level nowadays is becoming very pro. So if you do want to make sure that you play there, you have to treat everything very professional. So everything that we talked about, you need to take care of that very professionally because coaches are looking at every single detail. And just something else, if you guys do have any questions about highlight videos, you can always come back to us and let us know and we can help you out with that. Okay.
And then the next part of it is contact your top 10 schools in your freshman and sophomore year. Now, freshman year, I would say it's a little more lenient. You don't have to narrow it down right away to top 10. I know I didn't. I definitely I'm originally from Florida. He's from Brazil, but I'm from Florida. And I was looking at Florida schools. I was looking at schools up a little bit north, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. So I didn't really have a strict top 10, but I was browsing around, seeing what schools offered my major, what schools were kind of close to home, where I wanted to fit in, the program, the academics. So then by more sophomore year, you should have a better kind of more narrowed down list of where you would like to go. But then at that point, I'd say email them. You can email, I'd say 100% start emailing your freshman year. They can't talk to you until your junior year of high school, but it kind of gets you on their radar, lets them know that you're interested in the program. You're kind of somebody who they should be looking at. Email them your CV, your highlight video, and just a little bit about yourself and how you can help their program.
Yeah, and not just that, emailing the coaches is, you can see in here in the example, it is something that's very important. So emailing them as soon as possible. Basically, you can only talk to the coaches after your sophomore year. Or halfway through your sophomore year. There's a specific date there, but make sure that you start contacting them as soon as possible because it is really important that you guys get in front of them as soon as possible so you get recruited.
Yeah, so email them your tournament club schedules. If you guys go to, Disney, North Carolina, Texas, New York, New Jersey, on the West Coast, whatever. I'm a East Coaster, so I honestly don't know the West Coast tournaments, but any tournaments you guys go to, email the colleges and then attend ID camps. Now, this is kind of a hit or miss. We've got a lot of kind of controversy around ID camps, but I would still say go to the camps of schools end of sophomore going into junior that you really want to go to, because you'll get to see the campus, the coaching staff will get to see you perform, and you'll really get to see if you fit in with that environment. I personally only went to ID camps end of sophomore going into junior and then end of my junior year on the schools that I really knew, okay, this is where I really feel like I want to go, because then the coaching staff needed to see me. I needed to really get a feel for that environment. And some of the ID camps were like 3-4 days long, like over the weekend. So I needed to see how I would be there on my own, if I liked where I was, like in the city, in the atmosphere. So I would say if you want to attend as many ID camps as you like, go for it, but just kind of feel it out.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get going. Now how to get recognized by college coaches, email the coaches.
So this is just a lot of reiteration of kind of what
Basically
was
what
on the
we've done.
previous
Yeah.
slides. Email the coaches, attend ID camps, participate in clubs. The two slides I wanted to mention on this one was these last two. So you want to make a lasting impression by meeting with the coaching staff at every school and schedule visits to each of the schools that you're interested so you can make an informed decision. A lot of people just, at least some of the athletes that I speak to, they're kind of just going at the athletic side of it, and they maybe haven't gone to actually visit the campus. And that's so important that you kind of go to the campus and see where you're at. Because you're going to spend 4 years there. So you really need to be sure that that is where you want to spend 4 years, or you'd have to enter the transfer portal. And that's just a whole different can of worms. So just make sure that you're going and you're making an informed decision and you're making a really good first impression.
Yeah, and not just that, then we go to the next slide, which is be consistent. It's really important to be consistent, especially because, you know, everybody wants to play college, everybody wants to play pro. So you have to be consistent in what you do, not only on the field, not only in class, but also reaching out to them. And by that, I mean via email. Sometimes you can find their contact number on LinkedIn,
Instagram, Twitter.
check your contacts. If there are agents that you can try to work with in order to get to reaching out to that coach, just be consistent and try every single avenue that's possible to help you to get in contact with that certain school or team that you want to play.
And then the next one we roll into is how to email college coaches. Really big one for the beginnings, freshman, sophomore, even junior year. If you're a junior now and you haven't started yet, that's okay. We even work with seniors that haven't started the recruiting process. So if I'm saying, like, if parents, you're like, oh my God, we're so far behind, it's totally fine if you haven't done it yet. I would say start as soon as possible, but it's okay if you're a little bit behind. But the first thing you want to do, use an attention grabbing subject line. The example I gave was your name, your year, your position, GPA, things like that. But Julio is actually a college recruiter and has a little different input as a subject line.
Well, there's various ones that you can use, right? But if you think about if it is something that's an attention grabber, if you were the MVP of the season, that's something that you want to put out there. You see that Kelsey put 4.0 GPA right off the bat. That is something that's an attention grabber. Also, class of 24 is also something that's an attention grabber. Of course, coaches want to recruit the classes ahead, let's say 26, 27, but of course, they're mostly worried about recruiting the class that's the coming year. So those are things that you guys can try to think about and put it on. Just as another example, I did work with a recruiter that had 30 goals in a season and 20 assists. So that was something that I right away put it in the email because I know that's an attention grabber. But yeah, just a little example. But yeah, keep going.
The next thing to add to your email would be your CV. So this is just an example that Julio actually uses this as his pro CV. But your CV is just basically a athletic resume. So you're putting your name, possibly like your nationality, your position, weight, height, date of birth, your highlight video, career summary, accomplishments, characteristics. And this can be attached to the email, as well as if you go to tournaments, you can print these out and hand them out to coaches at your games. So that's gonna be a huge like reminder detail for these coaches where they're like, oh my gosh, this person gave me, they're probably getting a lot of these, but if they get yours, that's just another one they have to see. And then like you introduce yourself, say thank you for your time, stuff like that. Or if you have a team parent, they can also like hand them out to all the coaches that come. So just another avenue to kind of just put you on their radar. Your highlight video, we're going to get into a lot of this in a minute, but just again, photo of yourself, name, position, height, weight. The highlight video doesn't need to be too crazy in the beginning. Let's just get right to the main important stuff so we can get into the meat, which is the actual clips and plays themselves. And then the last part is you want to tailor the email to the specific coach and team. You do not want to copy and paste and then blast your email out to tons and tons of coaches. They all know that people do this, that athletes do this, and you want to definitely stand out from everyone else and make it look like you actually sat down, which I hope you do, sit down, take the time to research about the schools that you are going to be emailing, because coaches also like, they care, you know, they want somebody who did the research, that cares about their program, who can make an impact and help them win the next NCAA championship.
No, yeah, definitely. And that was something that I did when I tried to get recruited to play in my first school, and then in my second school. Is something that coaches want to see that you care, that they're not just bringing someone that just wants to go to whatever place they feel like it's their best scholarship or the best team, but actually someone that cares about the team. There's tons of people that want to play college soccer, so you have to find some little things, some little details that can make you stand out.
And then the next is grammar and spelling in your email really matters. So having a well-constructed email shows a coach that you care about how you present yourself and that you'll be a good student. So a big part that I hit on this slide specifically is the end goal isn't getting accepted and accepting your scholarship. You want to also stay on the team. And a coach needs to know that when you are at his school and going to college, that you will be a good student, because academics to these coaches,
Really
while
cool.
you're at the school, is really, really important. They really care about the GPA of the team, and they need to know that you are going to come in and not only make an impact on the field, but also in the classroom, because these programs win awards if they have a really good team GPA. And then the school wins awards if the entire program has above a 4.0. So if you're writing sloppy emails where you're using slang and
Yeah.
it doesn't look well constructed, they're going to recognize
Yeah,
that.
that's definitely fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then I do have an example email over here on the right. So this is just an example of, I use Julio as an example, but basically stating who you are, where you're from, that you've looked into the recruiting process and you're interested in their school, that you're stating that your school has a very high academic standard, that you're taking AP classes or you're dual enrolling and you have a high GPA. You're stating that you would love to come to their program and make an impact on their program. You add your highlight video and then just say, like, you add your club schedule if it's like coming up and you think they can attend, just throw it out there, just inviting them. And then you add your CV at the bottom. So it's more definitely kind of a introductory email as you are just reaching out to coaches. And then as they're recruiting you, you'll have more of that communication down the line. But just something like this where you are showing interest. Maybe you throw in a fun fact of like, hey, you guys won this last year and I want to try to help you get to the next level.
Yeah, just something that, like I say, something that makes you stand out from tons of people that are emailing them. I know for a fact that coaches have like opened their email every hour and has like 200, 300 emails. So remember, it needs to be something that makes you stand out of everybody else.
Okay. This is a lot. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. I know that you guys are putting stuff in, so we'll kind of go back at the end. I do have reserved time for questions, but just put them in the chat for now and we'll kind of double back.
And same thing on Instagram too. So if you guys have any questions, just put it on Instagram, on the chat. Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Jumping into the next slide. These are tips to have a high quality highlight video. So the first thing you want to do is have a good intro with a photo of yourself and all of your information. And this needs to be on every single thing that you put out there. So every highlight video you do needs to have an intro, and it can just be the same one that you always use, or if you have any updates, but just throw it in there so they can see your face. If you want to needs to have a headshot of you so they can make that eye connection. They know who you are. Put all your best clips up front. Really, really important. All of your best stuff needs to be immediately as close to the front of the video as possible.
Forget what people say about putting goals in the end just because it looks good in the end. No, put it right at the beginning.
All in the front.
We'll get to that after in the next slide, the reason why. Keep going.
All of it in the front. Identify yourself in every single play. Use a circle if you can, an arrow, something that shows them who you are. It's a big field. A lot of teams, use VO Trace now, and some of them actually do circle yourself for you, which is great. If you don't have that yet for your team, use your phone, circle yourself, try to zoom in if possible, but try to make sure they know who you are. Use non-lyrical music. Do not use any prolific profanity, no curse words, nothing bad. A lot of coaches might not even listen with sound, but if they do, you don't want to make a first impression of curse words, bad music. It's not going to go well.
And keep the video really short. And again, we'll go back the reason why, but make sure that it is pretty short. Coaches are very busy, so you want to make sure that it's really quick to catch their attention, and move forward with the recruiting process.
The types of clips, I couldn't fit it really all in one slide, so I kind of just generalized. But goals, assists, tackles, 1v1s, crosses, headers. If you're a goalkeeper, you want to do really nice saves, 1v1s, footwork, distribution, showing like space and that you like using vision on how you're moving. If you're a defender, I was a defender. I got recruited to play center back, left back in college. If you don't have goals, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's totally fine. Your position on the field is important. They have to recruit for your position.
Yes.
So put your best stuff up front. If you've got tackles, slide tackles, through balls, headers, throw-ins, you're
It's still something
important.
interesting. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And how to film, that's something that's really important nowadays because every single team has video trays. However, if your team doesn't have it, it's still fine. You still can use your iPhone or your parents' iPhone to record some clips. Just make sure that it is horizontally. If there are stands on the field, please make sure that they get as high as possible. You know, not only focusing yourself, but actually on the ball, just like a normal game that you watch it on the TV. Make sure that you after that, if you're editing, you try to zoom in yourself if it is too far away. And that's really important to use the club footage instead of high school or just over the high school. We all know that the level at club sometimes is a little better than high school. So if you want to make sure to use that over the high school footage.
Yeah. And Mike asked if we'll show you an example. We will. Do you want to show it now or you want to wait?
No, we can wait. Mike, let us know if it is cool. And we'll show that example.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep going.
So the next one is about the retention time for a highlight video. Now, the reason we're saying put everything up front is because we've been running our business for 5 years, and we've made over 1,000 highlight videos. We have a lot of data from the coaches that are actually viewing these videos because people will sign up with us. We'll put the highlight video on the YouTube channel, and they will use that link to send it out to coaches. So we're getting a lot of college coaches viewing videos, and this is how we're getting this analytical data of the actual retention time. So from what we got, they're only actually watching about 1 minute and 30 seconds of your highlight video. The actual average duration was 1 minute and 36 seconds. Now, this was from 2022, and on the next slide, I have from 2024. But you want to make sure that you put your first 1 minute and 30 seconds of the best possible clips that you can. And you just want to make sure that like every second counts. So goals need to be up front. Anything with incredible impact that makes you stand out has got to go up front.
Yeah, no, that's so important though. Like when I get on calls with coaches and they're like, dude, I got a highlight video that was 10 minutes long. So it is so important to make sure that you catch their eyes in that first minute and a half.
And so from this data, this is from 2023 to 2024 that I pulled. The actual average retention time for a video is now 1 minute and 22 seconds.
Lower.
So it's actually gone down by 10 seconds.
Yes.
So real important to put that stuff up front. And then the next giant piece of information are questions you should be asking coaches when you go to interview with them. So just jumping right into it. Oh my goodness.
Okay, right here.
Okay, we're
Right
good.
here,
Cool.
yeah.
How does your program support the players academically? You guys do study hall, tutoring, things like that. Almost every program should do this, but it's just important that you ask and make sure that it's offered. What preferred style formation do you guys play? Find out where you're going to fit in with the team. How do you ensure injury prevention? Do they have a really good AT program? Are they doing injury prevention stuff ahead of practice? My school, I don't know about what Barton was doing. I know LMU was doing it, but before practice, they were doing like plyometrics, ACL prevention ahead of practice, like band work to make sure that those muscles were really warmed up before everybody was playing to minimize ACL stuff. What's your lifting schedule? This is really important you find this out because when you have a 6 a.m. lift every single day, it really, really sucks.
Yeah.
So just learn your lifting schedule, find out like, so you can plan accordingly for your academics. What is their recovery process like? Do they offer ice baths after games? Do they have Normatec, which is like compression pants? Do they have Theraguns? Do they offer cupping and all this like kind of recovery stuff?
No, and keep in mind that you are going to have that interview with at least one college coach. So it is something that they always ask you, and they're like, if you have any questions. So you don't, again, going back to the thing that you need to stand out from those other people. Most people will come on and just be like, I don't know, I'm fine. You showed everything that I needed to know. But when you do come out with those questions, it shows that you care. It shows that you care to be in a professional environment, because all of those questions are based on professional environment, what professional teams can offer, not just professional in receiving money, but there are college teams that are very professional, maybe even better than a lot of pro teams all over the world. So it just shows them that you care to be in a professional environment.
And make sure one thing as well, that the athletes, you guys are asking the coach this question, not really the parents taking over too much of the interview. We just hear from coaches a lot that they want to hear from the athlete themselves, because the athlete is going to be the one playing soccer, parents, sorry, but not the parents. The parents aren't going to be going to college and doing schoolwork and all of this. The athlete will be doing that. So coaches want to hear a lot from the athlete and hear what concerns or questions they might have. But also moving forward, an average day in preseason, during season, and postseason. So how many preseason training sessions will you have? What will your class schedule and your season training schedule with liftings look like? And then how does your off season look? Where do they see you fitting in on their program? Are you going to be maybe a bench freshman that subs in? Are you going to be a starter right off the bench?
And it is okay if you aren't. Like, sometimes you're playing a level that that it is above the level that you're playing, and you're going there because you want to get better.
And the coach might see you as an up and comer. The coach might want to train you to become part of their program, and their team. So you might be a little weaker of a player, but he wants to grow you in lift sessions, grow your game during training.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Like, sometimes you need to ask that question just to make sure that you are in the right mindset to get to that place and be a bench, for example, which is okay.
Yeah, it's totally fine to come off the bench. As long as you're making an impact and trying your hardest and your coach sees that, it's totally fine. Ask what the campus life is like. What do the girls do or the boys do when they aren't in class or at the field? Like, what is the town like? Does the school do events? Because if you're in the middle of nowhere, like if you're in North Dakota and it's freezing, what are you going to do for fun if you don't have soccer? Do players generally room together? I would say most of the time they typically do, just from my experience, but ask that. That's really good to know. Team culture. Does the team do bonding sessions? Do they go out to eat? Do you do team meetings before and after practice? Find out what your atmosphere is going to be like that you're coming into. Yeah,
again, all of these questions, they're really important for you to make sure that the place that you're going to is the place that you're expecting to be. How is expecting to be, So again, there are tons of questions here. But if you guys have any questions about any of those questions, just put them in the chat. We'll explain them to you, but we'll go ahead and keep going just because we have a time in it, but let's go.
Okay, sorry. And then the next is the best way to balance school and athletics. So this is really, really important coming out of high school, going in as a freshman. You will be, unless you're going to school close to home, you're going to be by yourself. So you need to definitely learn time management, stay busy, always be doing something to get better in the classroom or on the field. Do your homework early. Do not wait till the last second. I promise you, speaking as a college graduate, you need to do your projects and assignments early. Once you have everything done, then you can go ahead and play video games or go out. Try not to drink too much. Honestly, it's not really worth it if you're in season. Video games, hanging out with friends, things like that. I know it's very tempting, but I promise you, you'll thank me later.
You guys would be surprised of how busy you get when you are a college athlete. Club kids, high school kids, you guys, it's nothing like
Yeah.
it. So just make sure that you are prepared, and make sure that you put your priorities, you set your priorities before you start that career, because it's not as easy as some people think it is.
And we don't want to like scare you. We're not trying to say like college is bad, but like when we went for him, especially because he was an international, he didn't speak any English. So it was definitely a lot harder for
Yeah, a
you.
lot harder.
But even for me, coming out of club, I was in high school soccer, I was in club soccer, and I went to school, for the whole 8 hours of the day. I still wasn't prepared for college because the professors in college, they expect you to come in and like know how things work. So you don't have a teacher asking you, hey, did you get your assignment done? Or, hey, did you study? You come in and you better have your work done,
Yeah.
because if it's late, you don't get extra time to turn it in late. You get a 0.
And that's the same thing on the field. If you get there and you're not prepared to perform, the coach doesn't care. Some people do like we are talking about here, some interviews that you have with the coach shows that he cares, that he really wants you. But when you get there, don't think that he's not interested anymore. His priorities are different right now. He needs to care about the team, and it's not just that singular person. So you need to perform in order to make him happy, and in order to perform, you need to be prepared. You can't get there unprepared and not able to perform on the field and in class. So just make sure that you have those priorities set, and you know what you have to do in order to do well in college.
Yeah. And one thing that I'm sure a lot of these programs now implement, but if they don't, I'm going to hopefully implement it for you now before you get into college. You need to be 15 minutes early to everything. If you are on time, you're late.
Oh.
So you need to be that like it's ingrained in my brain. Like it haunts me at nighttime.
The school that I played, the first school that I played, these 15 minutes were so important that if we arrived, let's say we were supposed to be there at 7, he would say we are supposed to be there at 7, but everyone knew that you had to arrive 15 minutes before. So if you arrived, let's say at 6:46, you were late. So when he said 7, you were supposed to be there at 6:45 or before. If you're there at 6:46, you were late already. So yes, it is really important. Just know that there are a lot of coaches that are really, really strict with time and various other things.
And maybe your club is already implementing that. So make sure you continue. It's going to get more strict, more professional, and less lenient as you move forward. So just kind of start mentally preparing for that now. And like, you'll have a really easy transition when you
Yes.
go into college. Okay, cool. Now from us, since you all attended this, if you do want to sign up with us for a highlight video, I will give anybody who attended the live and comes to us at any point a 10% discount. You can just let us know that you attended this live and on Instagram too.
Yeah.
Attended the live for the free webinar, and just let us
Just let
know
us know.
and we'll give you a discount on your highlight video.
And then someone also asked us to see one of the highlight videos that we created. Let me just go to our page real quick. Yeah. go.
Yeah, hold on. We need to stop sharing real quick.
Okay. Yeah.
Just give me a second. So
Oh, you can show Davi. So
Okay.
Davi is a player that plays in I think he's Slovakia. He's a pro player, and he reached out to us to make a highlight video. He used to play at a professional academy in Brazil, Cruzeiro, their Division 1 in Brazil. He got transferred to play at a D2, University of West Florida,
Yeah.
and then he got transferred after that to play at D1 Florida Gulf Coast. Again, that's his second season, going to his second season playing in Slovakia first division in Europe. But yeah, really good player. Again, you can see that now that he's a pro, we've done his highlight video since his time at college at his D2. We did his highlight video at his D1 when he got recruited to his D1. So you see someone that took every little level that he played professionally, and then he was able to get to the pro level, and now he's still doing those little details, those little things in order to reach an even higher level.
Yeah. So all of our highlight videos come standard with this intro graphic. You're going to get basically all of your information, and then you get a position of where you are on the field. And then we offer an identity circle in every single play that you have. And then it gets put on our YouTube page for college coaches to come and see and just use for their recruiting. So you don't have to sign up with us. If you want to, you're more than welcome. Again, you can get a discount, but this just shows as well
Every single player.
that the intro of your highlight video should have you, all of your information, and then best up front.
Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and go to the questions. If you guys want to put the questions there, you might need to change because they can see it.
Okay,
Okay.
let me just reshare. Cool, but we'll jump into questions. So let me go ahead and scroll up because I knew some people did have some questions. If you did join late and you want a replay of this webinar, feel free to drop your name and email in the chat and we can go ahead and email this out to you. So Dolly asked, you have mentioned the GPA several times are the SAT and the ACT scores also important for the process?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very important. So it kind of depends on the school, honestly. So you do want to find out what the coach requires for that specifically. So if you're in state, it's very different than if you're out of state. For me personally, my SAT score wasn't as important for going to a smaller D2 school in Tennessee, but for Florida schools, the SAT was incredibly important. So I didn't take the ACT. I only took the SAT when I did take the standardized test, but it is important. What do you know from being a recruiter?
Definitely so important and like take it as much as you can do. I am not very I do know how it works, but I don't know as much just because I do work with a lot of international players, so they don't need the SAT and the ACT as much as American players need. They need a total different test. But no, as far as I know, it is very important. And the good thing about it, which is different than international, is that you can do it many times as you want. So make sure that you prepare for it and study and make sure that you use the test that you got the highest score.
Yeah, but just ask the coach how important it is for your recruiting process. Every school is different. So definitely you want to do well, but some schools might be a little more lenient than others. What platform is the data from? So the data is from YouTube. If we are referring to this data here, this is from YouTube. So this is from our channel, from all the coaches, from all of the recruits that we use. They send out the link to coaches to view. So this is from a year of YouTube analytical data of actual content video views.
And if I could just step in here just real quick, you know, it's been a lot of great information. I just want to maybe summarize some things we talked about earlier. Will this slide be shared to everybody that shares their email?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Also perfect. So all this information they can see again, some of these templates, some of these questions. If they share their email in our group chat, they will get the slides so they can see all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
I also
absolutely.
see somebody was asking about pricing. Keep in mind, Kelsey and Julia has already offered a 10% discount. We're not going to talk about pricing here tonight or anything like that. Again, it's important that we share the information. And then if you guys want more specific information about their services, just reach out to them. But just really wanted to give out that free information out tonight. Go ahead, Kelsey.
Yeah, if you guys, again, if you want to reach out to Mike, or if you want I can give the actual slide deck from this presentation, or I can just upload the video. If you guys want it, put your email in the chat, send us a DM on Instagram, and we can go ahead and share the video as well as the slide deck. Do you suggest multi-platform, and how do the player Davi get scouted to an international team? So yes, multi-platform, 100%. The online digital space is so important now for the recruiting process. Your profiles for Instagram, Twitter, you need to make sure, this is actually something we didn't talk about. You need to make sure that you are not posting anything prolific, drinking, smoking, doing bad things, getting in trouble. coaches look you up.
Yeah.
100%. If they want to recruit you, they're looking at your
Every
Twitter,
single thing.
your
every single-
Instagram, your LinkedIn, your everything.
Yeah.
And while you're still in college, they're still watching you.
Yeah.
They're looking at what you're doing. So you need to make sure that you are not getting into trouble and you're not posting bad stuff, because that can impact your recruiting process.
Again, just think about how a professional player acts, on the field and off the field. You need to make sure that you basically act like it. So just make sure that you're very professional since the beginning. The other question was, how did that player that we showed in the video, Davi, get scouted to an international team? So Davi actually got scouted to play at MLS. He got invited to play to go for the MLS Combine. Unfortunately, because he doesn't have an American passport, or is a green card holder, he's just Brazilian. It was a little difficult for him to be recruited to play MLS and even USL. But as he got invited to go to the MLS Combine, he got to meet agents, and one of the agents view his situation, that it was easier for him to play in Europe. If I'm not wrong, he might have a European passport, just because a lot of Brazilians, they do have ties with Portuguese, just because we were colonized by Portugal and Spain. So there's always a way for them to circle back to getting a European passport. So I do believe he probably did get an European passport just to make it easier. It's just because there is a lot of rules in the pro level where when you're international, you're not a domestic player from that country. There's only certain quantity of spots for international players, so it was easier for him to get scouted to play in Europe. So he started his career playing in Slovakia. But yeah. Yes,
And
Mike.
just to add to that, sorry, Julio, just to add to that, because to that question, the highlight video is the answer, right? Is the highlight video is what usually, if Julio gets contacted, Julio and I have worked with some players that we've helped get to overseas, and every agent, everybody just wants to see highlight videos. They want to see their highlight video. And so it's, going back to college recruiting and staying on the topic for college, I mean, this is why the video is so important, because it's something that you can continue to add. And if you do decide to play at that next level, again, this is your CV. You heard them talk about the CV. All that type of stuff is going to help you, not just for college, but for that next level. I always also talk about the importance of having your own YouTube channel, almost like your own platform. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything you do is basically, if you're in the recruiting process, you kind of want to be marketing yourself. So everything you're doing, you want to be showing coaches that you are growing and you are becoming a better player. And even if you're injured, it's a big question we get a lot. Like, if I get injured, how do I stay in the recruiting process? Just keep telling the coach about your recovery.
Yeah, keep them updated.
Julio hurt himself, and just to kind of give an example, it is out of the college realm a little bit, but just tell the coaches what you're doing, like how your recovery is going.
Yeah.
So if you're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, you want to be posting stuff about yourself, post your goals, post how you did from the tournament. Maybe the coach wanted to go and they wanted to see you, but they weren't able to, like schedules change, budgets change. Maybe the coach couldn't get there. So they might have had you on their radar and they wanted to see you play, and posting your goal might ignite the recruiting process. You really never know when that moment is going to be the moment that a coach is like, oh, I really like this person. I want them on my team, So I'd say every little second counts. Make sure you stay confident in the process. That's a big one as well. Going through the process as I did, it gets kind of bogged down, like speaking to the athletes themselves that are on the call. It's very taxing, like you have to do school, club, high school. You got to maintain a good GPA. You have to be healthy, eating right, getting enough sleep. Like, it's very, very taxing on yourself as an athlete. So just trust the process. I know everybody says it, but truly trust the process. Go take it day by day. Just focus on the next best thing that you can do for yourself. whether that's taking a rest day or just putting in a little bit of extra time in the gym, meditating, like
There's various.
it all comes together in the end. So really just stay focused on what your goal is and do something, whether it's like a little bit or a little extra every day to just get closer to where you want to be.
And honestly, that also answers the question. Someone just asked us another question on Instagram, how to get more confident, like not nervous to prepare. It's as simple as that. Like it just goes down to the basics. You need to be prepared, because if you're not prepared, then you find yourself in a pickle, and
Yeah.
you might not be ready. So preparation is definitely the best thing. And like it goes down to every little thing. Today, just so you guys know, this is probably one of our best lives that we have done, and it's because we prepared. Kelsey and I sat down before doing this live, and I'm talking about this, okay? And I'll go back to other stuff, but we sat down during the week. We called Mike. We made sure to get every little detail taken care of, so that when we got here in front of you guys, we're like, I don't know what to talk about, So yes, it's to prepare. That's the thing. Even on the field, if you do have to prepare, make sure that you know the date that you have to show up for preseason. You start preparing before that. If you are a sophomore, if you're a junior, you know that you're gonna go to college in 2025.
You know, you're going to have your
2026.
fitness test.
Just prepare, and reach out for help if you need it. Nowadays it's amazing that you have Instagram. Then we go back to the other question that's about if you really need to have social media presence. We'll talk about that, but reach out to people. There's so much nowadays in social media that you can reach out and just be prepared.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Lorraine just asks, is it necessary to have a social media presence in order to get recruited? The answer, I would honestly say, is no. It's not necessary, but it definitely helps.
Definitely helps.
So because of COVID, this is a big thing he talks about because he talks to college coaches every day. COVID really changed the way that colleges recruit. Before COVID, in like 2015, 16, it was more of going to ID camps. It was more going to the showcase tournaments and the college coaches getting out there and seeing people. But because COVID made everything go virtual, now it's about seeing that highlight video that Mike talked about, seeing things online, seeing game footage online, and seeing like how you perform in a game. They don't need to go out now to the field and watch you play. That's probably maybe the third step they do. They're going to see your highlight video, they're going to see full game footage, and then they're probably going to go see you at a tournament or invite you to like a general ID camp. So it is not 100% necessary to have an online social media presence if you don't want one.
But it helps a lot.
But it definitely helps because coaches are just virtual now.
And I want to add that a little bit more to that, Lauren, is that like I do get a lot of people that they are shy, they don't want to show off on the camera, and sometimes it's because of friends, sometimes it's just how they are. Keep in mind that it is something that might help you. Don't think that it's something that's gonna hurt you. Of course, you gotta know what to put out, and you can always seek for help if you have any questions while you're putting out. But it is definitely something that it is going to help you if you do it. So if it is, and it is as simple as posting, I'll definitely do it. For me, it's a no-brainer. But there is also something else to add on to that. I do get a lot of people that want to make a highlight video and they're like, just unlist it because I don't want people to see it. That's not how you should think. You should post it for people to see it, because that's how you get recruited. You never know who is watching. So make sure that if you do post a video, you don't put just in a Google Drive. You put it on YouTube and make sure that's public. If you want to put on Instagram, TikTok, go ahead and put it. Create that page and start using it to get recruited, because if it is your end goal, you might as well do anything to help you.
And if you guys have any questions, like you're unsure of if Lorraine, you don't know what to put out and you have questions, or if anybody on this call has questions about pretty much anything soccer related, social media related, recruiting, college, the DMs for our page are open. So any parent is welcome to come in and ask us any recruiting question. We answer all questions that come in because we are happy to just be part of the community and be giving back to you guys and helping with the next process, because I went through it, he went through it alone, and it's there's so much information out there now, but at the same time, it might be kind of information overload. So you might be like, I don't really know what's right, which way to go, if it's the right thing. So our messages are always open if you guys have any questions. So just feel free to always reach out if you want.
Yeah, that's it. We don't have any more questions, but yeah, Mike, do you want to say anything else to add to that?
No, let's go ahead and take advantage that there's no more questions because parents always have questions and players. So, but as you heard Kelsey, please send them all your questions if you have any other questions. We really appreciate the community to come out tonight and just get some good information. Make sure you add your emails as well so you can get some of this information. Make sure you follow them on their socials and on YouTube at staff period highlights and also at process_SC. I'm just again really happy to have a partnership with Staff Highlights because I know the importance of these video highlights. They're so important to help you market. You know, Lorraine is a good example. Julio, you hit the point. Sometimes, you know, you just have to put yourself out there to create opportunity for yourself. I like to talk about Justin Bieber because he was found on YouTube. If he never would have put out a video of him playing some drums, he never would have been found. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much, parents and community. Thank you guys so much. Julio and Kelsey, you guys got the last word.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you everybody for
Yeah.
coming out on this Sunday night. I know we got work and school tomorrow, but thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike, for putting this together as well. Any questions you guys have, we're always happy to help you answer anything, be part of this community. And yeah, we'll be sending out the replay. So keep an eye on your emails and just thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You guys have a great night.
Thank you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.